Can everyone hear us?
Good to go.
Awesome. It's a little scary up here with the headphones on. You don't know if people can actually hear you. That's great. Awesome. Well, let's kick off here. We're Enclave Markets, and today we wanted to talk about a couple things, but most notably where we're going over the next 6 to 12 months to bring trading to everybody in a global manner. And then to bring that to life a little bit more, I'll step back in and sort of take us through a quick use case that I think will make it all the more real. So, Dave, you want to take it away?
Sounds good. Yeah, thanks very much for coming out today. I'm David Wells, CEO of Enclave Markets. For those of you who haven't heard of us yet, Enclave Markets is the world's first fully encrypted exchange. And to explain exactly what that means, I'll use our friend Queen Elizabeth, who's with us today. It was noted earlier that if you move around the room, Queen Elizabeth's eyes kind of move with you and watch you. And she also has some eyes on her garment as well. I think you helped us out with that. At Enclave Markets, even Queen Elizabeth cannot see your trades or your positions or front run you or commit market manipulation. So we'll get more into our platform and sort of what we're doing with it and how it fits into the future of permissionless finance. But yeah, let's get it started. Cool. So there's something huge happening. Really, it's happening right now, but we've been talking about it for at least like 10 years. So I got started in crypto in 2017. The pitch was all the world's assets are coming on chain. We've been saying it sort of every year. This is, I think, our fourth Avalanche Summit where we've been talking about it. 2025, I don't know about you all, but 2025 feels like the year where it actually is happening. We're actually seeing real world assets come on chain and start to be traded with Web3 infrastructure. And Enclave has been building for this world for the past 3 years. What that means from a financial markets perspective is that we're essentially bringing Wall Street to the blockchain. We'll explain what that means. But for the past 15 years of crypto's existence, we've basically been trading crypto native assets. And of course, we've had stable coins for, almost 10 years or so, 7, 8 years. But other than that, you're basically trading in your TradFi accounts, right? I would assume everybody in this room probably has some exposure to stocks and bonds. Outside of that, maybe real estate, right? Because maybe you invested in your home. How many people here have access to hedge funds? How many people here have access to private equity, venture capital funds, maybe investing in small businesses? Anybody? Coffee shop? Thank you, one person. So why is that? Why do we not all in this room have exposure to all of these different asset classes? Instead, we're all put into, in the US we call it a target date fund, it's UCITS in Europe. It's basically, they call it the 60-40 portfolio. You're invested in stocks, and some mixture of stocks and bonds. As you get closer to retirement, it moves you more conservative. We should all have access to all of these different assets. And Web3 infrastructure is what is actually going to enable that. And we're starting it here at Enclave. Okay, so what does it mean to bring, or what the hell does it mean to bring Wall Street to blockchain? Well, there's two categories. One is creating that access to all assets, including TradFi assets, not just crypto native, thinking about all of that holistically as a broad, diversified portfolio. And then what do you do with those assets once you have access to them? You need to be able to manage them. You need to be able to trade them if you want, exchange them. So what are we doing to enable this? For the past 3 years, Enclave has been on a journey to build the foundation of a platform to be able to support trading of all of these assets and investing in all of these assets. 3 years ago, we launched our first product, which is called Enclave Cross. This is a confidential marketplace so that using our encryption technology, you can make large trades without moving the market and move less liquid assets in size while reducing your information leakage and your slippage. We also, over time, launched a spot market, central limit order book, still built within the fully encrypted exchange model. We then launched a derivatives product called Enclave Perps. Just recently, we launched something called Alpha Strats, which will give you access to the hedge funds that I spoke about, and we'll get into that. And we went permissionless just within the last month or so. So now bringing all of these products together that we've been building, we now have the foundation for everyone in this room to be able to invest like any high net worth individual, any institution. when I mention all assets, obviously we've been talking a lot at this conference, this summit, about RWAs or real-world assets. That's obviously a very broad category. We'll go into a few of them. But this has been an area that people have been talking about for some time. And as I mentioned, it's coming live. It's becoming real this year. And specifically for Enclave, it's becoming real this week. So last week we launched perpetuals on tokenized gold, a product called PaxG that I was actually the product owner in launching back in 2019. If you met Corey Wendling, the CTO of Ava Labs, he was the CTO of Paxos at the time. So we launched it together, and at the time we thought, is anybody going to actually buy this? Like, you can buy gold in ETFs, that you can buy gold bars. There's a lot of different ways to buy it. Now it's at almost just under $1 billion market cap. So there is real adoption for these things. Later this week, Enclave will be launching perpetual futures on the S&P 500 index, the NASDAQ 100 index, and many more to come. We'll have a broad group of commodities, fixed income, and eventually private markets as well. So now that we have access, or we will have access, to all of these different types of assets, how do you manage them? Everyone is looking for an alpha-based strategy. You can have a passive portfolio, just have a diversified portfolio of a basket of different assets. Some people like to actively day trade and manage all their positions, every hour, and staying up all night with, energy drinks and, trying to make sure that they're not getting liquidated, doing their own risk management. But the reality is few people actually know how to manage this broad portfolio of assets, when to invest in certain things, when to get in, when to get out. It's pretty complex, and probably everybody in this room, I know Phil and I have learned difficult lessons about how hard it is to actually generate alpha in the market. So the reality of the state of the trading world today, whether it's traditional assets or crypto, is that retail traders are often left piecing together their own strategies, sort of doing everything themselves, figuring out how to manage risk. Where do I put my stop loss in? What happens if I, catch the knife on the stop loss and it goes straight back up? That's certainly happened to me over the years. And then just missing out on opportunities, having FOMO, because you didn't read the latest Telegram message, or you didn't see that one tweet that would have, allowed you to be early into an investment strategy. So there's no real cohesion, highly fragmented, no guidance, no real automation. Enclave is changing all of that. Imagine a world where you could have 1,000 different hedge fund strategies in your pocket. That seems crazy, right? I mean, even the largest institutions maybe allocate to a handful of these types of funds. Our platform has made a scalable way to get access to myriad different strategies. We've launched the first 3 over the past month or so. We'll launch probably 10 more over the next few weeks, and very soon we'll open it up to be able to allow funds and qualified individuals to actually create their own strategies. And so soon we'll have hundreds. So let's give a few examples of what the world will look like as we scale this platform and this offering. So think of an AlphaStrat itself is managed by a fund that can go long, short. They have advanced risk management tools. Oftentimes they've back tested their strategies over the previous 2 or 5 years. And they have quantitatives on their team. Everybody always makes a joke about this is my quant, in crypto. These firms actually have real quants, which was my background where I was at before here. But at the hedge fund I was at, you had to have a $100 million minimum check size. These are basically no minimums. I think it's like $1, right, Phil? So let's think about what investment strategy and automated trading strategies could look like in a world combining crypto assets with traditional assets. One example is digital gold. So you can have basically a firm managing a strategy. They're just sending the trading signals, so they're not able to actually remove your funds, from the platform. You're still in control of your funds. And maybe that basket has a mix of Bitcoin, gold. Maybe you have some stocks in there that are along this theme of digital gold. But it needs to be rebalanced periodically. It needs to be managed. Sometimes you might put in a quantitative signal if the market's going up. You want to go up with it. Or let's say news comes out about tariffs. I think a lot of people probably got burned a little bit when the market was whipsawing because the tariff announcements were changing, every few days. What if somebody quickly generated a tariff maximizer strategy where you put in some inflation hedges, you put in oil, you put in some volatility. So VIX is a volatility index, so you can actually benefit when volatility goes up. And then you might have some crypto in there as well. Or you can have strategies that are specific to that asset class. So for example, crypto quantamentals, this is a strategy that's live now on Enclave. This is effectively using multiple different factors, including sentiment, macro factors like interest rates, and then technical analysis to decide which direction the market's going and whether you want to be long or short certain assets. And oftentimes it's a basket of assets, so you might be long some of them and short some of them, and that's going to overall reduce the risk of that strategy and of your portfolio in general. So these are just a few examples, but at a high level, let's bring it to life with Phil to explain how he would use this.
So Dave started this by asking the deep philosophical question of what the hell does this actually mean? I wanted to walk you through a use case that's totally unrelated about the average trader walking in the market right now. So this is who you're trading against. And probably, if you're being honest, this is who you might also trade like. Somebody who trades solely based on emotion, reads about the next big thing on Twitter or X and says, I need to follow this trade. I'm going to make it all back right here. Super common in the market. I can't necessarily relate, but your average trader definitely feels this way. So what does this do for you? Well, today we want to roll out this concept of Enclave Intelligence. If you take all of the alpha that Dave just shared with you guys about alpha strats and how we're adding more assets into those strats, now we need to figure out how we get through the noise to find the signal, and that's what Enclave Intelligence is going to do for you. So if we follow with our example here, we'll look at Phil. Phil thinks he knows crypto. He thinks he knows the market. That's not always the case. And when the tariffs news hit in this example, he froze. Didn't know what to do, didn't know how to capitalize, knew that there was money to be made out in the market, but didn't know how to go out and get it. And so with Enclave Intelligence, what you'll do is just follow a few quick steps, starting with looking at your risk profile. You'll say, hey, what kind of risk do I want to take? How much capital do I want to put into the market? And how aggressive do I want to be with it? Or how cautious do I want to be? You can play offense or you can play defense. So step one is look at your risk profile. In this case, Phil's got a bit of a risk appetite, so he's going to push a little bit more into the middle here. And then the second thing you'll do with Enclave Intelligence is actually look at the news. There'll be a feed that says XYZ is happening over here, 1, 2, 3 is happening over there, and it helps you take all of that information, quickly package it together, and make a selection about how you're going to profit based on that. So after the news, you'll think about your investment focus. Again, Enclave's aim is to be the most accessible exchange out there. Come here from whatever chain you're on, get your assets deposited onto Enclave, and then be able to trade everything. We want to be able to trade everything. And so when you're looking at Enclave Intelligence, you're saying, hey, I think there's an opportunity in equities. I think there's an opportunity in commodities. I know crypto. I think there's an opportunity in crypto as well. How do I slam those things together? And so you'll choose your investment focus, set your time horizon. If you're anything like me, you might not be as patient, and that hasn't always worked. So you might want to set a little bit longer of a time horizon, try something different, see if you can get some alpha out of the market. And then you'll come through and say, hey, okay, find me a strategy that does all of these things that fit my needs based on what I have to give the market and what I want back out of the market. And you'll come to a list of strategies. In this case, we're showing digital gold. But the end state of Enclave is to show all of the alpha strats that we work with, all the funds that we work with, all in one nice, neat place that meets your needs for what you want to do in the market. So you'll look at this blend of Bitcoin, gold, and the S&P, and you'll say, okay, cool, stability and growth. I'm going to hit this thing. This is where I'm going to sort of guarantee and lock in my profits. I feel really confident about this thesis. And then maybe I'll keep a piece of my portfolio to go do some of the fun degen stuff as well. So this is intended to sort of be your golden goose in your portfolio and make sure that you're constantly generating returns as you go out and experiment with some of the other stuff on chain. So after you select your strategy, what you'll find then is a dashboard that's focused specifically on the positions that strat has open right now, the performance over time, and then a full list of things that might include the risks that are associated with that strategy. We believe in disclosure, so you'll be able to see exactly what you're getting into in a detailed way, described to you by the fund that's running that strategy. So you don't have to take Dave and I's word. You can actually take it right from the fund. as well as back testing historical results, what the simulations have been like, and then, of course, the real-time performance. So that's what you get on your dashboard, and from there, it's one-click execution. So if we go back to the first two things that we're interested in, it's accessibility, and then it's making it easy to actually get into the market and start profiting. With this click, after Enclave Intelligence, you find your strategy, boom, hit invest, your money's in the market, now you're live, you're monitoring your performance right here on Enclave, and that's what we believe is the future of trading, and that's what we're bringing here with Enclave. So this is what AlphaStrats is going to grow into. Enclave Intelligence is going to be the tool that unlocks the user experience to get into the strategy as fast as you can and start to profit. And then I think Dave has a few more things. We're like a late night commercial, like, wait, there's more. We got a couple things here to share over the next few months.
One more thing.
Yeah, that we're going to be looking at as we get into the end of the year here.
The other massive advantage of AlphaStrats that I just want to mention, because I think it's very important, is the quality of your sleep will go up. Because they have professional grade risk management, and so they've calculated all the potential drawdowns and when to get out.
It's like Oura Ring for the market.
Exactly. We should call it Oura Ring. Awesome. So what's coming like immediately in the next few months? I mentioned some of the real world asset markets that we're adding. We'll be launching AlphaStrats that trade specifically some of these traditional markets, and then others that will combine crypto plus traditional markets. That doesn't exist anywhere in the world, at least that we've seen so far. We're able to be a natively cross-chain platform. So we're incubated. We're started by Ava Labs and Avalanche. That's our first chain, our home chain. Because of the secure enclave, the way that decentralization happens off-chain, we're able to support natively USDC and eventually other stable coins from multiple different chains without any bridging. So the first one, we're adding Solana, I think this week, and then we'll be adding other L1s as well. We are exploring, so when we talk about this vision of the world where all different assets are trading, these are going to be, oftentimes will be different marketplaces. You might have a real estate market that trades differently from a small business ownership market that trades differently from your art ownership. And so these might be different marketplaces, but we envision a future where they're all settling on one common chain. And so that may be the Enclave L1. We're exploring that now. And then finally, the token that will fuel this platform. The business is essentially, the value of the business is going to go back to the users of the platform, and that is going to come in the form of a token. So the vast majority of the trading fees that we earn will go towards essentially buying the token, so that our users who will receive the token, who are generating the value of the platform itself, will benefit from the fees and the economic revenue that's made there as well. So stay tuned for that. Points is live right now. So we encourage you to go to enclave.trade and check us out, and please give us your feedback. We appreciate it.
We hit red here on the bottom, and the Queen's whispering that we need to get the hell up off the stage. But before we do, come check us out, enclave.trade. Trading competition going now, earn up to 50K in rewards. We'd love to have you on board. We'd love your feedback. We'll be around for questions if you have any for us after this. Thanks for coming in today, and we're excited to bring this to market here.
Thank you.